How's it going, everybody? My name is Tinti-Kane, and today I will be teaching you how to make one of the staples of classic college food, the quesadilla. So the quesadilla is really special in that it can be basically put with anything. You put a quesadilla with a couple little vegetables, maybe a couple fruits, and you've got yourself a full meal. But you can also have a quesadilla alongside like a sandwich or something else. Like, it's a very flexible meal. So step one for making our quesadilla is of course going to be turning the burner on. Give it a little time to heat up, maybe like 10 minutes, and then you should be ready. Also, it's going to be important right after you turn the burner on that you just make sure you have the proper equipment. So a flat pan like this, which you can place directly on the burner, is the best way to do it. I would say there's a few different ways you can use it, and then you'll need a spatula. And then also, eventually, you're gonna need some sort of knife that you can use to cut the quesadilla. All right, so now that we have our burner on, we don't have the pan on the burner yet. We've set up our little cooking station over here. It's always good to just kind of have a little area where you can put your food together, just kind of like a little station setup. And now we're getting to the exciting part. So this can make or break your quesadilla right here. This is the ingredients. You have to choose the best ingredients. Nothing less will do. So for starters, we have our tortilla wraps. The classic. I find that the white wrap works best. Some of my friends do love the spinach. We have our Mexican cheese. You really want to have the Mexican 4 cheese because that's really what's made for quesadillas. Putting anything else in it will not quite have the same effect. And then just for the pan, I like to use butter. You can use any sort of non-stick thing. And of course, it's not a quesadilla unless you have your spices. So I usually just use some simple ones. I go with some garlic powder, and then I like to use some whole oregano leaves, and I crush it up and put it in there, and it really adds a little extra flavor to it. The pan is now on the burner, and when you put your pan on the burner, you're gonna want to put a little bit of butter, and again, any non-stick cooking implement works, but I find butter works the best, and that'll burn really nicely so you can set your quesadilla up pretty well. So by this point in the process, your station should look something like this. You should have all your ingredients together, all of your cooking materials together, and basically anything that you're gonna need. So by this point in the process, you're gonna want your cooking station to look something like this. You're gonna wanna have all your ingredients, you're gonna wanna have all your materials that you're gonna need so you can focus on cooking your quesadilla correctly. So eventually, once you leave the butter on the pan for about a minute or two, it'll start to sizzle, and that's when you know that your pan's heated up, your pan's warm enough, and you can put your tortilla on top of it. So we have our tortilla down here. You're gonna wanna leave just the tortilla on until the sides begin to get slightly brown. This could take up to a few minutes. It could just take a minute, but you're just gonna wanna flip it with the spatula and make sure that everything is a little bit golden brown, and then you'll be in good shape. So it's actually really important that before you make your quesadilla, you just toss the tortilla on for a minute or two is perfect, but you're just gonna want the bread a little bit warmed up, so when you make the quesadilla, the cheese will melt much better than if you just put it on as the regular tortilla without toasting it first. And once both sides reach this golden brown level, you can take your spatula, take your tortilla off the heat, get ready to put the cheese and other ingredients. A quesadilla, I usually like to cover just about half of the tortilla with cheese, this 4 cheese Mexican that we have right here. So, and I would also recommend leaving a little bit of space around the edges because you don't want the cheese to burn all over the pan and stuff because that can get sticky and messy. Tortilla, notice how I left a little bit of space on the outside for when it melts, it'll melt into that area. And notice how it's just about halfway done. This is actually when we're gonna use our spices as well. For our spices, again, we have our garlic powder and we have our whole oregano leaves. And basically, really, these are a couple strong spices, so all you're gonna need is, that's the garlic right there, and that's the oregano, and you're just gonna need a pinch of each of those. Just kind of take a little, sprinkle it in on top of the cheese so it melts with it, And I don't know, maybe take a little extra pinch. Do as much as you want until you're happy. Pinch of the garlic, put that in there. And yeah, now your quesadilla is basically ready to be heated back up. Next steps, all you're gonna wanna do is fold the quesadilla over like this. Put it on top of the burner, on top of a little more butter, another swish of it. And yeah, pat it down a little, make sure it's all burning nicely. Move it around a little on the burner so all the sides can get cooked. And you're gonna wanna leave it like this for honestly probably just about a minute or two. You should definitely be flipping under and checking to see how well it's cooking and how it's burning. The burner settings can be adjusted. Sometimes I do like to turn it from 6 a little bit down to 5 just to give us a more even cook, but this should do a good job as well. Our quesadilla, and this first side is looking pretty brown. That's basically a good level that you're gonna wanna get it at. You don't want it to be too burnt, you don't want it to be singeing around the sides, and you don't wanna see a lot of black, but this is a good level right here. Just definitely thoroughly brown, but not too burnt. And you'll be able to tell when the cheese is burning too, you'll smell it. Well, I've just flipped our quesadilla again, and now we have both sides at this good kind of brownish level. Got our spices in there, cheese should be pretty melted. I'm gonna leave it back on this side for probably about 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna take it off and we're gonna have a full quesadilla. 4 slices, and at this point you're gonna wanna take the pan off of the burner, turn off the heat, kind of let that sit there, don't forget about it. And yeah, that we have fully cooked this quesadilla through, flipped it on both sides, added our spices. It is fully good and ready to eat. So thanks everybody for watching my video. The quesadilla was delicious. I'm sure all of yours are gonna be too. Just always remember something I forgot to touch on. Just put like a little bit of butter, like maybe like smear it in like 2 or 3 circles on the pan, and that's all you're gonna need. Anything more will make the quesadilla soggy, and that's definitely not what you want. So yeah, there's also a ton of different options. Like I used garlic powder and whole oregano, but you can basically put any spices in there. It'll taste different, it'll taste good. I would definitely recommend, if you start making them a lot, to switch it up sometimes. It's a lot of fun. If you like meat, you can put meat in there, like dice up some chicken, some steak, some pulled pork if you have it. Everything's kind of great in the quesadilla. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a nice day.